Welcome to today's explainer. So, our source material today is essentially sending us on a rescue mission. We are looking at exactly how to rescue your cloud budgets and your execution times by mastering a really critical PySpark technique, and that is bucketing. Seriously, if you're working with big data, this is the one concept that can completely transform how your data pipelines run.
Let's be real for a second. We've all been there. You write what looks like a perfectly fine, optimized script, but the second you run a join, your Spark cluster just starts screaming for mercy. You sit there watching those agonizingly slow progress bars. You inevitably get those dreaded out-of-memory errors, and simple queries just seem to crawl for literally hours. It kind of makes you start questioning your career choices, right? Well, the ultimate culprit behind all of that pain is what we call the shuffle. In the world of big data, the shuffle is absolutely the silent killer. It's that awful stage where massive amounts of data are just moved back and forth across your network between worker nodes. It completely devours your cloud computing budget, and it absolutely destroys your query performance. But what if we could actually organize our data up front, so Spark never had to shuffle it again? Okay, let's dive into this with a quick roadmap. First, we'll look at big data's silent killer. Then, bucketing versus partitioning. Next, the gold standard pattern, followed by before and after bucketing. And finally, your next Spark job. Section 1, Big Data's Silent Killer. Understanding the problem and introducing the solution. So, a lot of times, our very first instinct when pipelines fail is to just throw more compute power at the cluster. Just scale it up. But the real fix here is a software-level solution, and that's bucketing. At its core, bucketing is a data optimization technique where you pre-organize your data into a fixed number of physical files. These are your buckets, based on a specific column. Essentially, you're just paying a small organization tax up front, so Spark doesn't have to do the heavy lifting of shuffling all that data later on. To really visualize how this works, imagine you have a massive library. Normally, raw data is like just chucking books onto random shelves. It's total chaos. If you need to find all the books by George Orwell, you literally have to search the entire library. But with bucketing, it's like you decide upfront to put every single book by that specific author into a specific numbered box. Now you don't search at all. You just go straight to box number 42. Now, you might be wondering, how does Spark actually know which box is which? Well, Spark uses a deterministic hashing algorithm, usually murmur hash 3, combined with a really simple modulo operation based on your total bucket count. And this brilliantly illustrates how colocation actually works, because that formula is completely deterministic. The exact same column value will always yield the exact same bucket ID, meaning all of your matching rows are always going to live in the exact same physical file. No guesswork involved. Moving right along to Section 2, Bucketing versus Partitioning, clearing up the greatest big data confusion. We have to address this because it is easily the #1 source of confusion for beginners. They sound similar, but they do entirely different things. Partitioning is used for columns with low unique values. Think things like year or region. It basically creates folders. Bucketing, on the other hand, is strictly for columns with high unique values that you frequently join on, like a user ID or a product ID. The easiest way to remember it? You partition to filter data, but you bucket to join data. All right, Section 3, the gold standard pattern, how to actually write optimized PySpark code. This is where the rubber really meets the road. Here's the step-by-step pipeline logic you need. Step 1, you write df.write.bucketBy, and you define your bucket count and your key, something like department_ID. Step 2, you chain that with a .sortBy on that exact same key. And finally, Step 3, you end with .saveAsTable. This part is crucial. Bucketing metadata absolutely must be registered in the Hive metastore to actually work. If you just use a standard .save, Spark totally forgets the data is bucketed for your next query, and you lose all the benefits. Now, why did we include Step 2? Because combining bucketBy with sortBy is considered the absolute gold standard for optimization. By adding that sort, your data isn't just sitting in the same physical file. It's perfectly pre-sorted within that file. So when Spark goes to join this data later, it executes an ultra-fast sort-merge-join, completely skipping the incredibly expensive sorting step it normally has to perform on the fly. It's a massive time saver. But wait. Back in Step 1, we hard-coded a bucket count. How do you actually pick that number? So the crucial point is this golden rule for target file sizes. You want your physical bucket files to be somewhere between 256 megabytes and 1 gigabyte in size. Choosing that bucket count is definitely a balancing act.
If you go with too few buckets, your files become massive, which leads you right back to memory issues and severely limits your parallel processing. But on the flip side, if you choose way too many buckets, you fall victim to the many small files problem. That creates massive overhead and basically chokes your file system. The simple takeaway, just take your total data size and divide it by that target file size of 256 megabytes to 1 gigabyte to find your perfect bucket count.
Section 4. Before and after bucketing. Witnessing the real-world impact on joins. The source material highlights a really stark contrast here. Think of the before, the expensive way. Joining raw tables forces an exchange hashing partitioning step, which is really just a fancy way of saying your cluster is crying as it literally shoves millions of rows across the network just to get matching keys onto the same node. It's a huge bottleneck. But the after? Because both tables are bucketed with the exact same count on the exact same key, we get zero shuffle. It is entirely local processing. Bucket 1 of table A just talks directly to bucket 1 of table B. It's beautiful. And wait, there is more. The research points out a massive hidden value add here that most people completely overlook. Bucketing doesn't just fix joins, it absolutely skyrockets your aggregation performance too. If you run a group by operation on a column that's already bucketed, Spark calculates your sums and your counts locally. Because the data is already co-located, it doesn't need to move a single byte across the network to do the math. Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds into your daily work, your next Spark job. Actionable takeaways to implement today. Here is your quick checklist for the real world. Number 1, collocate your data in physical files. Number 2, make sure your bucket counts and join keys match perfectly on both sides of your join. Otherwise, the magic just breaks. Number 3, always leverage sort by for that ultimate gold standard pattern. And finally, test your work. Run .explain on your query plan. If that dreaded word exchange disappears from the plan, congratulations, you have officially won the battle against the shuffle. Always remember though, bucketing is an upfront investment. Yes, for sure, it will take your pipeline a little bit longer to write the data initially because it's actively organizing and sorting it, but you are paying in write time just once to save massive amounts of time and money every single time that data is queried. Honestly, if you have a huge data set that your team joins on a daily basis, bucketing isn't just an option, it is an absolute necessity. So I want to leave you with this question to think about as we wrap up. Look closely at your own pipelines. Which of your largest dimension tables are you going to apply this gold standard pattern to today so you can watch your shuffle read metrics drop all the way to 0? Go ahead and try it out, check those execution plans, and enjoy that massive performance boost.